and welcome back to the Read a Book Everyday Challenge for October 2025. Today we're going to be talking about Day 3's book, There's Pumpkin About You. Now yesterday I remembered that the title had some kind of pumpkin pun in it. Could I remember exactly what that was? No, not quite. But this is the book I was talking about with the orange cover and the pumpkin pun title, There's Pumpkin About You by Athena Carstairs. And I know what you're wondering. Hey, Christy, yesterday's book, you weren't feeling too good about. So what about this one? How did book 3 find me? Was it a brilliant return to form? Are we back to the 5-star sleighs? I kind of wish I could say yes, but I can't. So I shan't. On the surface, this book is fine. You know, it's just okay. I wouldn't exactly say, oh, this is a book I'm going to go around raving about. And I hate that, guys. I don't like this feeling. First of all, it sucks to, you know, be reading books that you get to the end of and you're feeling a little bit flat. But then to have to come on the internet and talk about them, I feel awful doing that. It's just not how I normally operate, but I have to be honest, that's the whole point of the challenge. It's another, I guess, element to the challenge that, you know, we've got to suck up and accept. So yeah, if I've got to give it a star rating, for me personally, it's like a 2.5 to 3. And that's not to say it's bad. It's not a bad book. It's just very meh. For me, I'm certain some people will love this. Okay, the premise of There's Pumpkin About You is that she is an event planner. He is one of 3 brothers that run this pumpkin farm. She wants to host an event there, and in order to get them to say yes, she's like, hey, you've got this barn. I want to transform it into an event space. Please let me, and in exchange I will basically renovate this whole place at cost, kind of ish, to myself. Honestly, even in the way that I'm describing the plot, it's a little bit woolly. You definitely didn't get a lot of info about her business, about previous work she'd done. I felt like a lot of things we glossed over, and they ended up being sort of quite big foundational pieces of the characters, the setting, the plot. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm being really mean, but I want to be honest. Guys. I picked this up because I wanted something autumnal, something giving warm, cozy vibes. And that's definitely what this promised. It kind of does deliver. I unfortunately have read better sort of autumnal aesthetic vibe books. There is a big thing I want to talk about this book, and I've spent my night, and then obviously before recording this video, really thinking about how I want to articulate it, because a major element in this, and it even has an author's note at the beginning, is the depiction of ASD, or what you may know as autism spectrum disorder, because the love interest in this book, August, has ASD. And so a lot of plot beats, a lot of elements, a lot of, you know, his character building surrounds ASD. And it is a topic I pay a fair bit of attention to when it's in books. I have family members at varying points on the spectrum, including quite severe. So it's a topic I pay a lot of attention to when it's put into a narrative, into a story, just because it is a particular topic that I want to be educated about. And I think reading, particularly fiction, is one of the best ways to try and develop as close to empathy as it is physically possible to get in the real world. Those of you who aren't aware, the difference between empathy and sympathy is that sympathy is acknowledging someone else's feelings, translating that, I guess, into how you yourself might feel in that situation. But empathy is the idea of feeling exactly what someone else does. It's someone describing a situation you yourself have exactly been in before, and you're like, I know exactly how you feel. I've been through exactly the same thing. Sympathy is that little step removed where you've never experienced it before, but you're like, I can try and imagine what it would be like in that situation. Both of those terms link quite closely with the literary concept of pathos. That is what plays and verse and prose are all trying to generate within you when they are of a somewhat tragic nature. This concept of feeling kind of close to what someone else does. It's also the same root where we get the word pathetic, feeling bad for someone else, or, you know, being worthy of other people feeling bad for you. All those concepts link together, but literature and pathos are really important, and I think it's one of the main reasons why I champion reading whatever you want to read so much, because it is as close to becoming truly empathic people as we can ever really do. I think sympathy comes naturally to people but empathy is an exercise. So when I read about ASD, something that I am not personally familiar with, but I want to understand, I want to get as close to an appreciation of what it is like as possible, literature is a brilliant way of doing that. That expression of the human mind in literary form can help inform me and help me sympathise with those struggling with things that I'm not, especially those people that I care about. And I have been fortunate enough to read some absolutely phenomenal books where the FMCs or MMCs are on the spectrum. If you haven't read Chloe Lies's Bergman Brother books or anything by Helena Huang, I'm going to thoroughly recommend you pick up those books. I think they are brilliant. I think the representation is phenomenal and they moved me. I finished those books feeling like I had such a better understanding of what life is like for people living with autism spectrum disorder and how that impacts their romantic relationships. That then means I was comparing this book a fair bit with books I hold in very high regard on a topic I care a lot about. And in that vein, I want to say I think that's very unfair on Athena because it's a topic I care a lot about and I do not feel like this book really hit the nail on the head for me. Neurodivergence is particularly difficult to depict and convey in a book. I think there is a real skill in being able to draw people out of their own lived experiences and try to accurately depict what it is like for someone neurodivergent to be processing things, to have the same wants and desires as others, but having it be more difficult for them to access and express. I think there is a real beauty in that being done well. And I really, really wanted that in this book. And I'm sad to say, I did not get it. The world building, the plot, the characters, the conflict, it all felt, and I'm going to use this word, and I hope Athena never, ever, ever watches this video, it felt very shallow to me. And I just don't think a novel where one of your main characters has ASD is, shallow waters. I wanted depth. I wanted hidden depths. And yeah, we didn't get to go very deep at all in this. It all felt, I feel like I'm being really, really mean again, but it all felt a little superficial. There were a lot of vibes. We went through things at like a breakneck pace. And I know I'm reading quickly, but even I was reading through this going, wow, okay, this to this to this. A lot is happening, but also nothing's happening, if that makes sense. I finished this book kind of going, oh, I could have not read that. God, I can actually feel myself getting meaner the more I talk. And I hate that. I hate the fact that this is putting me in that position as well, so I'm getting more frustrated and that I know that's coming out in the words that I'm saying, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the experience of reading this. I fully snuggled up to read this one as well. I was under a blanket, I was all cozy in my little reading nook, and yeah, I just got to the end of it and felt a bit deflated. I'd love to be able to come in and give praise and kudos, but I can't think of many, if anything, in it I really liked. And that this is personal, okay? You may have never read anything that depicts ASD before, read this book and be like, oh, that is transformative, I want to read more books with that representation. And if so, that is absolutely fantastic. I think representation in literature is so important. It's something I actively seek out, especially with ASD. And so I want more books that depict things like this. I just didn't love this one. I'm very, very glad that I blitzed through this one, gave it a couple of hours and could then move on, because if I'd spent days plowing through this to feel the way I did at the end of it, I would not have been best pleased. I have to say, I do love the cover. I think it's really pretty. I love the fact that there's red foiling on the leaves. I think this is a lovely aesthetic choice. I think the marketing for this book has been very successful. I just wish I finished it and was jumping for joy. I also want to say I was sent this by the team at One More Chapter, so I hate to come online and give anything less than an absolutely rave review, but I want to be honest, and I never feel comfortable coming online and lying about books. Normally, I would just avoid posting, but this is the Read a Book Every Day challenge, and thus I have to post about the book that I read that day. And so, yeah, it's combined also with that frustration that I wanted to be able to come on here and rave about this. So that's, I guess, then making me think even less favourably about this book. I hate the position you've put me in. God damn you. Why weren't you brilliant? So yeah, another day where I'm coming on with not the glowing, raving, happy vibes that I want to. This obviously sets itself up for romances for his brothers. I'm really not that fussed. I'm not super invested in the world, in the characters, or anything like that. It was cute, I guess. If you're looking for autumnal aesthetic reads, then it'll definitely tick that box for you. I can't come on here and say that I personally enjoyed reading this at all. Maybe I will look back on it more favourably when I'm a little bit further away from the actual act of reading it, but I literally read this last night and then lay on the sofa feeling a little bit mardy for a bit. But yes, those are my thoughts on There's Pumpkin About You. It's a really sensitive topic, like discussing ASD representation, and I don't know if I've articulated myself as well as I could do, and if people want to rip into me for what I've said in this video, that's fair. I get it. I can't give myself longer to sit and think of a really articulate framing for my feelings and my thoughts on this, because I need to move on to the next book. You know, it's another issue with this challenge where I can't sit for very long. I have to move on. I have to jump into something else. And this video is a little bit more woolly on a topic that I think is really important. And I hate that, but I need to post this. You know, it needs recording, it needs editing, it needs to get up so that I can start today's book. And just to let you all know, day 4 of this challenge is falling on a weekend. So I'm starting my first big book, because in theory I should have more time to get through it today. And so I'm going to read all of Alchemized today. And I want to get started on that ASAP, because I feel like it is going to be chunky and I might want to take a couple of breaks, possibly to cry. I've never read the fanfiction Manacled that it is a translation of, so I'm going in completely fresh to Alchemized, and I'm really, really excited for it. So I hope that tomorrow I can come on here and return back to rave reviews. I'm sorry I've not come on and been as effusive as I want to be. These aren't the kind of videos I like making, but yeah, I'm feeling uncomfortable posting this, but I need to do it. You guys are coming along this challenge with me. It is what it is. But yeah, 3 books down, another 28 to go. Gee whiz. And the first one of those is going to be Alchemized. So I will see you later, alligators. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And if you haven't already, please give this video a like. Please follow the channel. All of that helps. Adios, team. Arrivederci. Goodbye for now.